So I went back and forth on this one to do separate reviews for episode 4 and a separate review for episode 5. I haven't seen episode 6, but I don't know. And it's probably not fair to Daredevil to review them together because episode 4 was really, really good and really powerful. And it has this great scene between these two characters, which is pretty obvious if you know Daredevil Born Again. You probably know who the other character is. I don't want to give it away, but if you're into mythology, you probably know who Matt is having a deep, difficult conversation with. And it proceeds as you'd expect that they don't exactly like one another, they don't hate one another. They're in a really weird, murky space, and I like that. I like that a lot. So that gave the episode a lot of weight and heft. Meanwhile, Daredevil episode 5 also had Matt Murdock conversing with a difficult interlocutor, to use a big $20 term. That one, though, was it wasn't bad. It was just like it just seemed kind of pointless, and it was after a while. It was like, what are we doing here? Also, it brings up world building questions like, huh? What? Let me just stick to praising episode 4, which I think is doing a really good job of building up. Like that was what was really intriguing is the build up, the build up, the build up. So this is not spoilers. So let's just say Daredevil does something very very controversial in the first episode. He makes a momentous decision that affects him and the Kingpin for these 4 to 5 episodes. But there's the problem, because episode 5 doesn't really seem to do very much with what was set up, but we'll get to that. So there's this really intriguing conversation that the Kingpin and Daredevil have. That I'm not spoiling, that's in the trailers. And it really affects the story, at least for the first half of the season. I liked it insofar as what it was. However, some people are questioning it's really destroying the character. The action scenes are not that good, etc., etc. And I agree, the low lows are low. I mean, yeah, the fight sequences, despite a huge budget, are kind of not very impressive. It's a very Jason Bourne kind of choreography. The problem is, when the Jason Bourne director did it, he did a good job. Here, it just feels like, I don't know, they didn't have a lot of time, right? Charlie Cox, he needs to breathe and eat and sleep, so they only had him for a certain amount of time, and it's like, okay, we just got to do this as quick as possible. So it feels a little bit undercooked. And I will say episode 5 overcooks, but not in a good way. So I think episode 4 is a really good culmination of the things they built up, and it has an incredible cliffhanger. But then we get to episode 5, and you're like, oh, okay. So I didn't quite get it. I think this is the dilemma with the MCU when they have these shows, is that the shows seem to be all mixed. For my money, the best things have been Moon Knight, the Guardians of the Galaxy special, Werewolf by Night. But the more normal, whatever TV shows, with the exception of Loki, and that is a key exception, which I think we can explain real quickly, is that by having these different writers and directors, but having, quote, a consistent showrunner, you're getting very mixed results. With the Star Wars stuff, that really sticks out. Like some episodes of The Mando, excellent, 10 out of 10. But then the next episode is like 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Right? The Book of Boba Fett started off strong, but quickly declined. And again, you're like, okay, that had one consistent director, but the vision was kind of not there. And that's the problem here. So some episodes of Daredevil have been pretty strong. Episode 5 wasn't terrible. It just felt like another long pause button. So we have the great cliffhanger, which we now expect will deal with the Kingpin, right? And episode 5 is just basically Matt dealing with a bank heist. And it's not spoiler, but I don't think I'm even spoiling anything to reveal who Matt is working with or dealing with in the episode. It's Kamala Khan's father. And you're like, okay, all right. I mean, I think it's intriguing they're using the minor characters. But at the same time, you're thinking to yourself, wait, why would these bank robbers be crazy enough to even risk, right, Miss Marvel, whatever she is, to come into the situation? This just seems like such a big risk, right? But then they explain it saying, oh, these are Irish they're Irish terrorist criminals, and they're from out of town. They don't know what's going on. They don't know that Daredevil and Spider-Man are right around the corner, so they're going to take their risks, I guess. And the actor's really good. He is a really good, proper villain. He's not Palpatine, but I thought he was intriguingly, evil enough. But the big plan, when they do the big twist at the end, is so stupid. You're like, really? Really? So I've defended Daredevil against some of these more ignorant, dumb attacks because it's people who don't read the comics, don't see the cartoon, don't really know Daredevil. Oh my god, you ruined my Daredevil! Like, they're pipsqueaks. How long have they been alive? It's like really phony fans being stupid and phony. But, okay, but yeah, episode 5 is one you're probably going to have a lot of fun making fun of because the action is fine. It's not great, but it's like, okay, fine. But, yeah, the trick the villain pulls at the end is like so ridiculous. You're like, really? And also, too, like, what Matt does, confronting the villain, is like, well, why? You could just use the costume. Yeah, it was really, really strange. It also seemed wildly out of character from the first 4 episodes, which apparently people think is now the Ryan Johnson Last Jedi, the most evil, horrible, nihilistic thing of all time. Because this one went overboard the opposite direction. It's like, Matt is like, I will not let one single innocent person die. I won't let it happen, buddy. I will not. I will put myself, my identity, everything in danger to save every innocent person. So he overdoes the Superman Boy Scout thing. They do flip it at the end when he confronts the villain. He unleashes, and it seems pretty clear that guy's disabled. That guy is never going to walk again. So again, I don't want to give it away. I think I'm giving too much away, but he gets some holy righteous revenge. And it makes sense because he endangered so many innocent people. That's going to not play nice. But so the end being felt appropriate to the other episodes, but a lot of the episode just felt like flimsy comedy nonsense, like him trying to be funny, tell jokes with morbid black humor. But I'm like, I don't know. It just didn't work out. And it just did feel like, and again, it's fine. They want to take it slow, but they're taking it slow. And it's just really, we just went off trailing, going nowhere. And it's like, okay, great. We got more of the Marvel universe. I get that. But this one felt like the one legit episode. If you could have one episode in Daredevil Born Again, you think it's all artistic. It's an artistic vision. You can't just take one out, right? This is not the Mona Lisa here, right? You can't just carve out one piece and not destroy it. That's true. However, if you had to get rid of one episode and not really do too much damage to the story, this is probably it. This is like the one episode you can totally skip. You didn't really lose too much. Really at all. And it didn't even have your favorite characters. So it just felt really weird that given the criticism, and listen, the writers and directors and producers, they knew they made some really controversial decisions. I'm defending most of these decisions, but this one just felt like we're stretching out the story for no reason. So even episode 4, which was a little boring, but only a little bit, okay, I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. But this one, episode 5, is like, that's like a 5 out of 10. It really did feel like they just took a vacation. And it seems like Charlie Cox had a good time talking to the Kamala Khan father, but really it just felt like we went on vacation, and it's not a good vacation. It was just a very long, and very nowhere vacation. The villain was nice, and the Irish accents felt authentic. Give them that much. That was about it.